Promise of a new week here at beautiful Belmont Park. We've got that iconic elbow tree here in the paddock. You think about all the champions and great thoroughbreds, jockeys, trainers, owners that have walked beneath the trees here in the paddock at Belmont Park. And spring continues to bloom here at the Big B. Overcast through much of the day. It was like 10 minutes before the last race. The sun really came out, and it's bright and nice. And we're glad to be here on this Wednesday edition of Belmont Insider. It's Jason Blewitt, Richard Migliore, and good to be back as we get set for week number 2, Mig, and we have got a tip-top show to get into.
Yeah, a lot of great stuff, and I think it was an omen that the sun burst out just as we were getting set up here to do the show. It's going to be a good show.
It's going to be a good show, and it's always a good show and always a good time when you're talking about the Triple Crown and American Pharaoh of the Goods and Derby 141 in front of 170,000 last Saturday at Churchill Downs. We are about 4.5 weeks out from the 147th running of the Belmont Stakes, and that is where we lead off because in addition to great thoroughbred racing and the Belmont Stakes Festival, you got to have good tunes, and we'll have a live performance on Belmont Stakes Day after the races with the Goo Goo Dolls.
And I'm a big fan of the Goo Goo Dolls. I actually really like their music, so if the great racing isn't enough for you that day, well, the Goo Goo Dolls certainly will seal the deal for me, and I won't be too unhappy about staying here late and listening in a little bit. Actually, they'll be right down by the winner's circle, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice. 13 races in all on Belmont Day, Saturday, June 6th. Final post is 7:50 p.m. That concert will take place after the last race, and they've been around a long time. I mean, this is not their first rodeo. The Goo Goo Dolls really broke it big back in the mid-'90s and were kind of an offshoot of the whole alternative sort of Seattle scene, but they're still going strong. It'll be good to have them here at Belmont Park. And, of course, on Friday, we have a band called OAR. That stands for Of a Revolution. I've seen them play at SPAC a few times upstate in Saratoga Springs, and they will ring in the festivities on the night before the Belmont Stakes.
I'm not as familiar with them. I'll take your word for it. They're good. The Goo Goo Dolls, like you said, have been around a long time. Maybe that's why I'm into them. I've been around a long time, too.
All right, 5 stakes on that Friday card the day before the Belmont Stakes, including the True North and the Tremont. Should be a lot of fun with the Goo Goo Dolls and OAR. And, of course, we want everybody that joins us on Belmont Stakes Day to be as comfortable as possible, and we want to keep the logistics as simple as possible. And I think a good move here, at least on track, announcing this morning 90,000 will be the capped attendance on Belmont Stakes Day.
Yeah, I think it's a smart move. Make it a little bit more manageable, give everybody a little bit more breathing room, and hopefully we won't have the same issues we did people getting out of the park last year. They'll be addressed, and like maybe with the cap of 90,000 will make it easier for people to get in and out.
And regarding the Long Island Railroad train platforms down at the other end of the building, they've done over $5 million worth of improvements after last year's Belmont Stakes. And as grand a palace as this place is, let's keep in mind she's also well over a half a century old.
Yeah, and of course, they are constantly going to have to refurbish things and update things, and I think it was important that the Long Island Railroad got on board with that because people did have issues last year, and hopefully there won't be the same issues this year.
How about all aboard the Todd Pletcher Express? What a Derby week. Didn't walk away with another Kentucky Derby title, but he won a whole bunch of stakes down in Louisville. He was at Belmont today, and he caught up with the MIG to get us up to speed regarding where all his stakes horses are going next.
Todd, you ran a couple horses in the Derby. I think Materiality ran a really good race, kind of unlucky. Maybe walk us through your feelings about your Derby horses.
Well, I agree. I thought Materiality ran really well. He just unfortunately broke flat-footed and got shuffled back, got a lot of dirt in his face, which is one of the concerns you have with a horse making his 4th lifetime start, and that being in the Derby. That being said, I thought he finished up really well and showed that he belonged. Just you kind of leave there thinking what might have happened had he broke well. Carpe Diem, on the other hand, he got a beautiful trip, and I, honestly don't have any excuse for him. Maybe just didn't love the surface, but we got exactly the position we wanted, and he just kind of finished evenly. So, and it's a knockout. He ran hard like he always does.
Where do you think the next step will be for the 3 of them if they all come out of it well?
The only thing I've decided for sure is that it's a knockout, will not run in the Preakness, and we're just kind of monitoring everything else, see how they do.
A little bit of bad news over the weekend. Palace Malice had a scratch out of the Westchester. Is he over that, and is he still on point for the Metropolitan Handicap?
He is. He actually had a good breeze here on Monday, and unfortunately the timing of the foot bruise was bad, but he recovered quickly, got a good breeze, and we're still hoping we can maybe make a prep before the Met.
Okay, well, we got some of the disappointments out of the way. You also had a really good weekend at Churchill Downs Protonico, but particularly Dame Dorothy. I thought she was really impressive going 7 furlongs.
Yeah, that was a big win for her. You know, we've always felt like she's a filly with Grade 1 quality, and we're just trying to find what her niche would be. You know, being a daughter of Bernardini, we always felt like 1 1/8 would probably end up being her best distance, and after we tried that a couple of times, we actually decided maybe backing her up was the right move. Unfortunately, it paid off.
And competitive edge, he was really impressive. Where do you think you head with him, and will you stretch him out or keep him short for the time being?
You know, we think he's super talented and probably is good enough to run anywhere from 6 to 1 1/8, and we're just trying to figure out where that next start's going to be.
A lot of good things to look forward to.
Hopefully.
Thank you.
Thanks.
7-time Eclipse Award-winning trainer. He has got over $8.8 million or $8.1 million in the bank this year. 82 wins, 18 graded stakes victories, and for Todd Pletcher, life just keeps getting better and better. And regarding all those horses you talked about with Todd, let's start here with Materiality, who I think, even with the dust settling at Churchill Downs, a lot of people feel he was the biggest trip horse in this past Derby.
To me, he was, absolutely. And everything started from the break. It just shows you, no matter what the distance of a race, how important the start is. He was shut off early. He got shuffled back in a key point of the race into the second turn. And to me, he showed so much courage in defeat, getting kicked back, getting bounced around between horses, getting shut off, and then still finishing as well as he did. The only thing we learned about him in his first 3 starts is he was talented.
Right.
Now we know he's also got a tough constitution to go along with that talent.
He's by a Belmont winner in a Fleet Alex. We hope to see him in the Test of the Champion for the Pletcher Barn and outdoor racing. And how about competitive edge? This was a case where I talked about it on the Racing Report this past Sunday with Andy. It almost reminded me when he won the Pat Day Mile of the 97 Travers card when Tail the Cat won the King's Bishop and was mentioned sort of in the same breath as the horses that ran later in the day in the Midsummer Derby.
Yeah, Tail of the Cat, certainly super talented horse, probably was best at 7 furlongs. I'm not convinced, watching Competitive Edge, that he won't stretch out successfully. He's very fast, we get that, but he's not rank, and he does things the right way, and he appears to me to be a horse that, when he gets comfortable, can carry that speed a long ways. All
right, we'll continue on with our high cruising speed on this edition of Insider. We got to get to the Wednesday card. Nobody hit the pick 6 on Sunday. We had nearly 27K in the kitty as the carryover, and we had Larry Colmus breaking his maiden today. Good to have him back from Kentucky, and he's got the call on Wednesday's third.
Groupthink had a good start, so too Persuasive Devil from the inside. Zabayon is right up there too, and on the far outside it's Blue Chips Only. Repent Twice, well behind in the early stages here, lagging back about 8 lengths off the lead as Zabayon heads them up the backstretch. And Blue Chips Only is second, a neck back. Persuasive Devil, hard held third down at the rail. Right in behind the leaders, Groupthink is alongside of Persuasive Devil, and they're clear by 5.5 over Repent Twice through a 24 flat. Opening quarter mile. So they move up the backstretch with Zabayon and Eric Kunsell leading the way by a half a length. Blue Chips Only to the outside is running in second position. Groupthink just off the top 2 in third. Persuasive Devil follows in fourth as they move for the turn, and it's another 6 lengths back to Repent Twice, who's been outrun so far. Zabayon the leader through a 48 flat half mile. The lead by a neck here over Blue Chips Only, and Groupthink is just to the outside of them, running in third position, a length and a half off the lead. Persuasive Devil is getting going now. Angel Cruz guides him outside, and they begin to gain a bit of ground with 3 lengths to make up, and Repent Twice continues to lag well behind the field, and Zabayon is the leader as they come toward the top of the stretch, but Groupthink draws up alongside after 3 quarters in 1:12 and 4, and they're into the stretch, and it's Zabayon and Groupthink, and the two of them are side by side as they come down the lane. Groupthink on the outside, Zabayon, and here comes Repent Twice, who was so far behind, now third, still with work to do, but coming in the final 16th. It's Groupthink in front, Zabayon, Repent Twice on the far outside, running out of time. Here's the wire. It's Groupthink. Groupthink won it in a photo over Repent Twice and Zabayon, who were close for second, and Persuasive Devil was fourth.
Compact field on the main. Larry Colmus on his toes, and it turned out to be a very good finish down to the wire, Megan, race 3.
A really good finish. Groupthink seems to be a very polite horse. He always seems to be saying to the other horses, no, after you. He's racked up 6 seconds with his second victory, and even today when he got there, it appeared as though he might hang or he might get caught, but he did gut it out in between, so it's good to see him back in the winner's circle. I remember riding, it would be so frustrating riding a horse that wanted to be second like that all the time. And the best case scenario, you have a horse that could lead you long enough and catch him late so that they wouldn't have time to pull up.
It is funny, though, the way the game ebb and flows. I mean, Chad Brown walked away with 2 graded stakes winners on the turf Saturday Derby Day here at Belmont. Went 3 for 3 on Sunday, and he's just clearly in the zone. A finalist for champion trainer last year. I think if he's going cold right now or is just the usual 15%, there's a good chance Groupthink is third in that photo, not the win.
Well, it's interesting. When a barn's hot and things are going well, you get all the bounces, and the horses that sometimes disappoint you, they wind up delivering for you. And I think it's a great point. When things are going well, they continue to go well.
Well, same could be said for trader Todd Pletcher. A chalky start to this edition of Insider. We do have the late pick 4, the pick 6 carryover, and plenty of action on Big Sandy to get to. We're just getting started right around the half-mile pole on MSG+. Some backyard brews, nothing like a day at the races. Family, friends, that is what thoroughbred racing is all about. Coming out to beautiful Belmont Park, having a great time, and boy, oh boy, a great time will be had by all on the day in the festival that summer starts here at Belmont Stakes Festival on June 4th through the 6th.
And the facility just lends itself just to that. There's great areas in the backyard to set up camp and have people. You can be as casual as you like or as dressed up as you like. Belmont has something for everybody, and that day, racing-wise, we have something for everybody.
Right, hallowed ground here at the Big B, that backyard. A number of the areas in the Belmont Park backyard were resod and redone over the winter time, and the proof is in that picture. The grass is green, the plant looks terrific. The old girl is on her toes. Let's move on to race number 6. Larry Comas with the call. We lost a rider out of the gate. Everybody is okay. Now let's go up to Larry C as they bend into the backside.
And the leader will be Color Party. Color Party is the early leader as the field makes their way around that first turn. And then it's Diane Still Works running in second, with the loose horse running just ahead of the leaders now. And Easy Feeling is third. They're followed by Path and Tap It Out at the back of the field as they head up the back stretch. And the opening quarter mile goes in 24 seconds flat. Up the backstretch they go in pursuit of Color Party. Diane Still Works a half length behind, second by a length and a half. And then it's Path followed by Easy Feeling to the outside. And Tap It Out fifth and last. And 5.5 lengths off the lead as Color Party and Diane Still Works are a half length apart as the field races for the turn. And they went a half in 47 and 3/5 seconds. The loose horse Joe's Desanimo racing outside of the leaders now as they move into the turn. Color Party in front. Diane Still Works a neck back in second. A length and a half back to Easy Feeling. And then it's Path on the inside, and Tap It Out is still last as they make their way toward the top of the stretch. Color Party and Diane Still Works. They went 3/4 in 111 flat. And Diane Still Works on the outside to the front. And here now comes Path. And Path has moved up into second. Diane Still Works, Path, Tap It Out on the far outside, finishing well. Color Party is given way, and they're into the final 16th. And it's Diane Still Works trying to pull off the upset here. And Diane Still Works will win it by a length and a half over Tap It Out. And then it was Path, and Easy Feeling was fourth.
Diane Still Works, rank outsider 12-1, and Mig, we see it sometimes, especially in compact fields on the inner turf, where a speed horse gets out there and just does not quit.
Well, just an advantageous inside post. Irad Ortiz, Rudy Rodriguez, Michael Dove doesn't seem to dabble in any junk either. And this horse, once that half and 49 and change went up, this horse had every advantage. And I like the way he allowed this horse to start marching on. He wasn't waiting on horses to catch up. And that's the key to riding a speed horse.
Spurted off the far turn, Scat Daddy Philly, turf debut a winning one. Rudy Rodriguez, Irad Ortiz Jr., the winning rider. Pair of well-bred Tappet fillies were in the wake of Diane Still Works. It was the 7 Tap It Out for Alan Goldberg, whose turf horses have run very well thus far at Belmont Park. Second best narrowly over the Shug McGahee trained Path as we get on to race number 7 on the main track. And let's go back up to Larry.
Between the lines, out well, Ship Disturber on the inside comes on through. These two to go at it early on for the lead, and Culprit will be 2 lengths off of them, and Matterhorn will be 5 lengths behind as the battle goes on up front. Ship Disturber and Between the Lines, and these two are a neck apart as they continue their run for the turn. After that comes Culprit, and Matterhorn's just a bit closer now. He's right to the inside of Culprit, and 3 lengths off the dueling leaders, who went 23 flat for the first quarter mile. Into the turn, Between the Lines on the outside. Ship Disturber at the rail, and Matterhorn is on the charge now, and Matterhorn is just outside the leaders, running in third and going very well. The trailer is Culprit, and Culprit is only 2.5 lengths behind. Midway on the far turn, and now it is Between the Lines, taken on by Matterhorn. After a 46 1/2 mile, Ship Disturber is back to third on the inside, and Culprit is last as they come to the top of the stretch. And it's Matterhorn on the outside, and Between the Lines battling on from the rail. And these two well clear the others. Matterhorn's got the lead a furlong out. It is Matterhorn in front. Between the Lines back into second, giving way to Matterhorn in the last 16th, and they're coming down to the line, and Matterhorn and Javier Castellano have won it by 1.5 lengths. Between the Lines was second, and Culprit was third.
Well, a couple of Tappet fillies were second and third best in race 6. Fear not, we've got a winner by Tappet on the show. Matterhorn, the big odds-on favorite for Todd Pletcher and Javier Castellano, up in time over sort of the kid from the other side of the tracks, the New York bred who fought gamely down on the rail.
Yeah, give the runner-up Between the Lines a lot of credit, because Matterhorn was just perched in that stalking position. He looked like a cougar ready to pounce, and he did get the job done. But Between the Lines hung in there gamely for Rajiv Mirage and Joe Lustrito.
Javier would go on to win 2 races on today's program. If you're keeping score, 131 wins already in 2015 for Javier Castellano, who, whether you're talking Gulfstream, Belmont, Churchill, Keeneland, the turf, the dirt, it doesn't matter. He just gets it done.
Yeah, he wins anywhere he goes. He's riding the right horses, but he's doing the right things with those horses. And that confidence just builds on itself. When you start believing every horse you ride can win, you win a lot more races than maybe you ordinarily would.
Now let's get back to Javier, the top-notch jockey colony here at the Big B. We've got a rolling pick 6, rapid-fire pick 6, 1, 2, 4, 5, 8, and 9.
The corner and gets going to the inside of Calling Me Home. The half was 46 flat, and they're coming into the final furlong, and Eastern Rose has the lead. Eastern Rose down to the last 16th, 4 lengths in front of Mistaken Love, and on the outside Calling Me Home, then Picture Day at the rail, coming to the wire. Eastern Rose is the winner. Calling Me Home was second, Picture Day was third, and Mistaken Love was fourth. The rail cuts the corner and squeezes through on the inside after a 46 1/2 mile. They're into the stretch, and it is Grandpa Len and Love to Run. Love to Run on the outside by a neck. Grandpa Len back into second on the rail. Back 40 is third with 3 lengths to make up at the final 16th. It's Love to Run in front. And Love to Run and Angel Arroyo pull away in the end to beat Grandpa Len. Back 40 was third, and Pacific Image was fourth. Star a go at the rail, and the two of them turn for home together, 3/4 in 1:11 and 2. And here comes Mangold and Javier Castellano breezing by on the outside, and Jackson and Leonard comes up the fence. Mangold and Jackson and Leonard 1-2 now. Mama's Mark is third. It's Mangold in front. Mangold, Jackson, and Leonard on the inside. Mangold's got it. Mangold over Jackson and Leonard, and then Mama's Mark and Greg's four-wheeler was fourth. 46 2 for a half mile, and Dariel and Angel Cruz turned for home on the lead, and they turn it on now, opening up to lead by 2, leaving Party Time Chill and the others behind. And then comes Racing for Chasin', followed by Saluda and Papa's Missile down to the 16th pole, and it's Dariel in charge. Dariel coming home a winner by about 3 in the end over Party Time Chill. And then it was Racing for Chasin' and Saluda. For the stretch, it is Whoopie Pie. Off the turn in front, 3/4 in 1, 12 and 4. And Whoopie Pie leads the way by 2. Let's wrap it up. On the inside, Easy Comparison trying to come on, and Talbot County on the far outside into the final 16th. And it's Whoopie Pie in control. And Whoopie Pie and Manny Franco will win it by 3 over easy comparison. And then it was Talbot County, and let's wrap it up. On the inside, and they're coming to the top of the stretch fast at noon. Turning for home in front. Runs a 46 2/2 mile. Yabukiva on the move now, and Yabukiva breezes right by fast at noon with a furlong to go. And Not About the Nail is moved up into second on the outside, but it is Yabukiva. Yabukiva and Angel Cruz have it won. Not About the Nail's going to be second, and then it was Harlan 6 and Fast at Noon.
Good to see trainer David Duggan, a runaway winner in the last race off a layoff and a trainer change. Guy does a good job, doesn't run many, Mig, but have a world of respect for David Duggan.
Yeah, I got to work with David and his wife Lara when they were working for John Kimmel. We had Hidden Lake. We had a lot of nice horses, and always a good horseman, and the whole family. I mean, wife included. You would think that their children will be good riders because they both could ride.
Yabukiva got it done in race number 9. This was really a top trainer late double, because we talked about David Duggan in the 9th as we check out Cappy in our second look, and we go back to Joe Sharp in race number 8 with Whoopie Pie. And hey, it didn't take Joe long to get into this Belmont Park winner's circle.
No, and it hasn't taken him long to make a big impression as a trainer. Really came out firing from the first horse he ran. He's been very successful, obviously a good horseman, and nice to see him here and getting off the mark with his first starter. And this horse ran really well. Nice ride by Manny Franco, too. Got to dictate the fractions, and once again shows speed is dangerous, especially when you're allowed to be loose on the lead.
He's got one horse entered tomorrow, Joe Sharp does. And Mutasawi, I think is his name, a former Shadwell horse claimed off of Danny Pites during the Fairgrounds meet horses. 10-1 on the line, maybe one you want to take a look at as we go to the rider standings. We want to remind everybody we do have that Mike Venezia Award online voting. Check that out at Naira.com. And well, I say Joe Sharp, it didn't take him long to get into the winner's circle. Javier spent pretty much all of last week at Churchill Downs, but he was back home here today at Belmont.
Yeah, and already making an impression, and he's going to. And you know he's going to be tough for leading rider. He's going to have a lot of momentum. But Angel Cruz continues his good riding. He carried it over from Aqueduct, leading rider there on top of the standings with his uncoupled entry mate there, Cornelio Velasquez, both handled by Billy Castle, Irad Ortiz, Manny Franco, the usual suspects.
And speaking of usual suspects, check out that list, and blown away by the operation Chad Brown runs.
Yeah, and twice as many winners as his nearest pursuers. A bunch of guys tied for second, but Chad seems to be hitting on all cylinders, and I'm sure he was runner-up for the Eclipse Award last year. He's going to do everything in his power to get that trophy this year.
And we've got Nightfall Chatterpaul up there with 3. He's gotten off to a good start. How about Gary Gullo? 3 for 6 at the meet. Not bad. Gary has not missed a beat. In fact, Gary often active in the claim box. He claims some. He loses some via the claim box. And Abigail Adsit jumped in and took Dariel off the Gullo bar to runaway winner in race number 5 for Matthew Shera, same guy that owns Race Day for Todd Pletcher.
Yeah, and just a lot of action up there. Love to run, change his hand for 12.5. You could have had him for a little bit more as a 2-year-old. And let's wrap up the claims with Let's Wrap It Up. Phil Serpy taking one for Drawing Away Stable.
$40K the price. We want you to stay with us, though. We won't charge anything. Nowhere near $40,000. We're nearly in the home stretch. A Thursday preview is coming up. Ready for a fun weekend at Belmont Park. 4 graded stakes on Saturday. And, of course, Sunday is Mother's Day here at beautiful Belmont. We hope you're out here with Mom and the family. You can sample Jackson wines in the backyard. There's a wine tasting, the brunch, win a Longchamp bag, and family fun activities. Nothing like family fun day at beautiful Belmont Park. Visit Naira.com for more details. It's the MIG, it's Jason, and a Thursday preview as we pick up Jimmy Toner's Sheldon, who's coming off a long layoff in race 5.
Yeah, and that's the question mark. Going a mile and a quarter off the long layoff. He broke his maiden here in the race we're seeing, going a mile and a quarter over this turf course, and then jumped into the deep end of the pool with runs in the Belmont Derby, the Secretariat, the Hill Prince, and he wasn't embarrassed in any of them. He ran well. Jimmy Toner's a terrific horseman, doesn't deal with the volume a lot of these other stables, but the mile and a quarter off the bench is the question.
And making decisions, got to go 10 off the bench for Linda Rice. He has not started since November. Bellasaris has got some recency, spent the winter down at Gulfstream.
And they weren't very far apart, hard to separate them here within a neck of each other. And I would have to give Bellasaris, out of the two, a little bit of an edge because he's had the run this year.
Mike Baker's got a speed horse at Roman Approval, who does have early speed and somewhat of a compact field. He's got to go the 10, though. I think that's the biggest question with him.
And I think that separates the men from the boys. A horse can steal a race mile to a mile and an eighth. A mile and a quarter, they got to have a little more stamina.
Let's get back to Chad Brown. He's got a good one, I think, for Klaravich Stables tomorrow, and Takeover Target, who on closing day of the fall meet, when this horse debuted in his 2-year-old career, was an impressive winner. I mean, he'll just roll home with the perfect ride off the quarter pole.
Yeah, and won with something left. I really thought this was an impressive performance. He had no problem winning his first start. It looks like his breezes have been very consistent and good, and I would have to think he's ready to fire off the bench.
For a trainer that's done nothing but firing over the last few racing cards at Belmont Park, Shug's got one for the Phipps stable, colt by Stormy Atlantic and Face the Music, who's making his second start of the season, broke his maiden back on Travers Weekend.
Yeah, and one easier than the margin of victory would appear here. He's kind of eased up a little bit at the end and beat a pretty decent horse of Kieran McLaughlin's, who wound up becoming actually he was on the Derby trail for a little while, I should say. I don't know what happened to his speed his first start back at Keeneland. I'd like to see him be more involved tomorrow.
Xandar, colt by Kitten's Joy. He's right at home at Belmont Park. Broke his maiden as a 2-year-old last September.
Yeah, and he's run with very good company. We're looking at Vision Perfect, who's one of the better horses out of the Dave Donk barn on the turf here. He had the run in the Woodhaven, beaten 3.5 lengths. I don't think he had a good trip that day, so you got to think he's going to improve off of that race.
Chalk City today at Belmont Park. 7 favorites won from 9 races. We'll try to get some prices home, and we know Andy and Maggie are right on that assignment as we send it on over.
Thanks a lot, guys. Well, the 7th race on Thursday, I won't argue with anybody that tells you number 5, Caval, is the horse to beat, because she is. Her last race was fine out of town, and she appears to be the controlling speed, but I'm not going for a horse that looks really good on paper. I'm very interested in the 1 Irish Sweepstakes. You know me, I can't not resist a turn back, and Irish Sweepstakes is turning back. I think it's a very good turn back, because not only do I like a cut back in distance, but she's really shown that she doesn't want to go long. She's better suited to these shorter races, and I think she's shown that her form's been okay. Perhaps it's just been the distance that's been wrong. So for me, I'm going to try to beat the 5, Caval, the favorite in the 7th race on Thursday with the 1 Irish Sweepstakes as we head to Maggie.
Thanks, Andy. While you're in the paddock, for your Paddock Insider, we'll hope the skies are a little bit sunnier tomorrow as we'll look at race number 4. It is a claiming event for $50,000 for the fillies and mares, sprinting on the turf, 6 furlongs to be exact, and one filly in this field has done that, and it was a winning performance, and it was her only try sprinting on the turf, and she'll return to that tomorrow. It's number 9, Sky Saratoga. So hopefully she'll have her running shoes on for Tom Albatrani as she does come off another layoff, but I think this is truly what she wants to do. So Sky Saratoga, your Paddock Insider for today. Jay, Meg?
Thank you very much, Andy and Maggie. What a scene here at Belmont Park. We've got Big Sandy, 1.5 miles, the Test of the Champion, BelmontStakes.com, and we cannot leave without saying, let's go Rangers. An important game tonight down in D.C., and we'll see you tomorrow right here on MSG+.